Everybody, welcome to MUSE TV. We're back for another bite-sized Halloween, and we're talking to one of the great directors who are part of this series, Shal Ngo from Control. Please tell me, how did everything come about with Control? Because it's a very psychological, very interesting movie, especially dealing with obsessions or overindulgences in certain things. Tell me how it came about.
How the idea for it came about, you mean, more so?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
yeah, so my manager put me in touch with the awesome people at Hulu and Bite Size Halloween, and so I was coming up with these different concepts when we were initially pitching them. And I've always been very obsessed with like the sort of like inner landscape of these horror films, like films that deal more with whatever's going on inside as opposed to some like slasher killing people, which I also like, which is also great. But I guess the biggest influences were there are just certain there's an article about itches and about obsessive itching, and there's some other books that I've read about basically this idea that determinism, it's been a big theme in a lot of things recently, like how much of your life do you actually can have control over. Is there a fate deciding this? It's been something that people have been wondering about, agonizing over for thousands of years. And the more we start to understand our cells and these different chemicals and time, the more you can start to have this kind of feeling of helplessness. So that was something I wanted to explore. And to be frank, like I also kind of wanted to try. I haven't experimented much with the horror genre, and I like the idea of trying to make something that was really trying to get under people's skin, somewhat of a pun intended. Like, can I get people to watch this and make them feel kind of fucking terrible by the end? In a controlled environment.
And you literally did a great job at that, because like I was watching it and I saw already when I see a doctor describing something, I was already like, okay, this is gonna go somewhere that I don't know. But it was well shot, well told. It really does psychologically make you feel like, oh man, imagine like you'll second guess ever scratching your head again.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and how was it working with 20th Digital to get this all together and produce and put it out?
Oh, it was great. They were super, super collaborative and really supportive of it. I pitched a couple other ideas with them, and honestly, I thought that this one was maybe the most out there. I thought they maybe I had some more straightforward horror things, and I was talking to my fiance about it, and I was like, 'cause I told her about this idea I'd had before about like, what about this woman who just like can't stop itching? Because I'd thought about it, I hadn't quite figured it out. And I pitched it to her, and I was like, I think that's too weird. And she's like, no, you should put it in. Like, you should put your craziest one in somewhere there in the middle. And I put it in, and they were like, let's do that one. And I really didn't expect that. So that was super cool. And they were super down with the whole process. I made an animatic of it. So kind of the way I like to work with this kind of stuff is I storyboarded it out, and I had like a very clear vision of where it was all going. And I showed it to them, and they were just super supportive from day one. So I'm super appreciative that they were down to take a lead, because it's on paper it's pretty weird to try to explain that film too. It's like, oh, it's like kind of like there's a documentary, but it's like not a documentary, and then like there's this woman itching, and then there's like a machine, and there's like ants. It's one of those things that's sometimes harder to pitch, which I know can be difficult sometimes for me as a filmmaker, because obviously we need to get the money to make what we want to make. So, but yeah, that was great. That was a long-winded answer, but
no, but it's a great answer, because it shows like in your work, like when you have the budget, you could do some amazing things. Like you got some great actors in this short.
Thanks.
Shot beautifully. The color is just amazing, because it really does blend into what you're to the storytelling. And I think that's what a good director and a good storyteller does, is take what they have and make it look amazing. You did that with the short film.
Thank you.
What was it about the main actress? Where did you find her? Because she's so good in this role.
Oh, Camille.
Yes.
Camille is awesome. Camille was I'm blanking now. She had a personal connection to my producer, because we were having trouble with the casting, like with the regular casting route, finding like the perfect person. And I think that was the situation where my producer either had a connection to her or just showed me her IMDb, and I reached out to her directly. I'm pretty sure that was what it was. There were a couple of actresses that which is smart sometimes too, like for people making sure it's like if you find someone that you really like, sometimes just trying to get a hold of their agent and manager is worth it.
Mhm.
And so I think I hit up her agent and manager saying like I'd seen her reel through whoever, and like I dig your work, like let's collaborate on this. And then she blew it out of the water in that first audition. She completely lost it in the
That's
best
what's cool.
possible way.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool that is what you found, because it shows on screen how good this is and how good this your short film really was, because it's like she
Thanks.
really carries it. She carries it very well.
Yeah, she totally carries it. Like, and we shot the first thing we shot was basically that hospital scene where she's like, where she learns that she like picked at her brain, and everyone on the crew, like, 'cause like some of the people I'd worked with before, some of the people were just like, what is this?
Uh-huh.
It's COVID protocol because we were very strict about COVID, and that's always insanely annoying for a crew. So they're kind of like, what is this going to be? We've gone through all this rigmarole, and then she just like uh bursts into tears and like freaks out on the second take. And I think that was a really good way to set it up sometimes for people, because it's a short film, like who knows, like you're on something legit. And
Mhm.
that's nice. I think that really set the tone, so I'm very thankful that she like delivered in that way. Like these are like, this is a professional, and she's going to give us some awesome stuff.
Exactly, exactly. And another question I have for you is, what was some of the technical challenges on this film? Because I know with COVID protocols, it probably made it very difficult to do what you normally would do on set. But what were some of the
Yeah.
challenges in trying to get this completed? Because you only have so much time to really shoot, edit, and put out. So
Yeah. I guess like the technical challenges for this one would have been like getting the brain to look right. I was worried that was going to be harder than it was. I guess that was what I thought was going to be a challenge. Shooting those ants was fucking hard.
yeah,
That's my arm too, and that's just like me and my DP in my yard. So that was sort of like a pickup that we had to do because our days were getting pretty packed. But yeah, I would say like shooting the ants and shooting during COVID has been tricky for me for a lot of these shoots, because like obviously there's no point in making anything if people aren't safe, like,
yeah,
but obviously. So you really have to follow like a pretty strict protocol. And for me, that's why I was thankful I had such good actors, because when you're wearing like a mask or a face shield or whatever else, like there's a different kind of connecting to people. So I always find that difficult, like connecting more with my actors. So I'm thankful to work with like true pros in that sense. But yeah, I was shooting those damn ants. That's all like 120 frames per second, like across my body. So it's like we're literally like, oh, we got it, we got it, we got it. With this long probe lens, just like trying to move it around. So all the shots that you see, like
mhm,
that's it. Like after that, it goes out of focus or whatever else. So that's just like a little movie magic there. That's like one of those moments where you do something really bootleg and you hope it looks really pretty, and we got lucky that it did. But there were a couple times through that with the macro stuff too, like shooting super macro. I was like, I have this problem with a lot of these things that I film sometimes, and cause I tend to add in a lot of components. This isn't just like a film in a room. That's like there's a bunch of locations and there's a bunch of crazy shit. And I'm like, is this gonna look really good? Is this gonna be like, am I gonna be able to pull this off? So I think the macro stuff is probably going into it my biggest concern.
yeah,
But I think we figured out. I think Scott, who's the DP, who's just a dream, who also worked in my last film, like you said, like the colors and stuff are all him, and Gabriel, the production designer, who's also awesome, like just a really solid team. But yeah, just not knowing if the macro stuff is going to have that sort of like lux look to it, like that pro look to it, because sometimes it's just like this, like, is that going
yeah,
to look good?
exactly, exactly. And that's the
Yeah,
thing. And he did a great job on getting that shot, because
thank you.
it's so it just looks great, and it kind of makes you feel itchy after you're just thinking
Yeah.
about it. But what we do have a lot of college students and a lot of high school students who usually watch MUSE TV. What would you recommend them if they want to get into to be a director and be able to make some short films like you do?
Hmm. Um. I guess like one of the biggest recommends I would have is just that like this is it's sort of like a war of attrition. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna take some time, and I would just not. I would really do, and this is what I try to follow. Like I made a lot of films that weren't good, and I would just really recommend to just make as much stuff as you can and not get discouraged. Like the way that I usually approach a lot of these projects now is I go into it and and sometimes I'll tell my collaborators, I'll be like, this is gonna be the best fucking movie. It's gonna be awesome. Or it's gonna like totally not work, but like we're gonna try to make it awesome. And I think that's like a good policy to have because sometimes things just don't work out. And I think eventually you're gonna make these films and you're gonna have this big vision for it, and you're gonna work so hard at it because making movies is so insanely difficult. Like it's unreasonably hard, especially when you're first starting out. And you can put like your whole heart and soul in something and it can suck and it can just be like objectively bad. And no one can like it no matter how much it meant to you, no matter how it like channeled your struggles and your families, like it can just be bad. And you just have to be okay with that and keep making stuff. Like make more bad films and just know that every time you make a bad film, you're getting better. So I think it's just really come to terms with failure because there's gonna be a lot of failure. But if you really want to do it, you're gonna keep going. There were so many times when I was so many shoots, an hour 25, and I'm making something maybe I spent my money to do. And at this point, you've lost, like you will lose a lot, but there's going to be more films. There's always another film to make. So just keep at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What can you tell the Muse audience to go on Hulu and watch your film Control? What's a message you could tell us? Get this one.
A message. Can you explain that a little more? Like a message to
Like, what can you tell the Muse TV audience in order to get them to go into Hulu, subscribe, and watch your film Control? Because this is a film, like the one thing that I really love about this year's Bite Size Halloween, a lot of the films are really good. Like the bar has been raised. And you and your film is one of those films that really raises the bar on these Bite Size Halloween. What can you tell them to get them to watch?
I would say if you are interested at all in psychology or horror or documentary or film or anyone who's making content that's a little bit different out there but still entertaining, like go out and see it because it's dope. That wasn't very good, but I'm not great at selling myself. That's my other advice. Get better at me than selling yourself because you need to believe in yourself first. No, I would honestly say that it's 5 minutes. It's awesome. I dare you to watch it and not hit yourself afterwards. Like, do it. See if you can do that because I don't think you're going to be able to.
Exactly. But Shal, thank you so much for stopping with us, talking with us about your short film. It was like, I cannot say it enough. It was so well produced, well done, well shot. Once again, like all the films so far this season have really lifted the bar and really took this Bite Size Halloween to another level. And you're one of them. I want to see what you're doing next. I'm looking forward to what's in your mind and what you're going to be putting on the screen next. So thank you so much for stopping with us.
I really appreciate that. Thank you for having me and thank you for the kind words, man. I really do appreciate it.
And no problem. And if you want to see the film, go to the description below. We're going to have a link where you'll be able to go into Hulu, sign in, and be able to watch Bite Size Halloween and watch his film Control. So we'll see you next time here on Muse TV.